remember that I sworn and I meet me the skin tight. Many of the what and your best rockers. Wait, whom I want to check. What to check. Sensitive, minimum common set. Would me want good or did there. Slim to say, dear, was a bolo. Yes, it's head up with the Yaman Simon, but the cabin up to a Matimala, to a Yaton Chef, dead. Where you was it was it up with the upper. Oh, good boy. Anyone that tonight. Found to my Bomadian on my tonight. When you have talent, Nashiko, at Nakasa, then that's straight to go. What do this to be a more? Won't you have to kill a celebration? Here we go.
Very pleasant good evening and welcome to From Our Hearts with Radhika and Ken. Unfortunately, my voice is not as before, but you know what? I don't care. I need to do this interview today. I am with the beautiful Sonia Noel, who hails all the way from Guyana. You know, in 2018, when I went to Guyana to do some work in suicide prevention, I end up seeing Sonia and I fell in love immediately. And I think her hallmark was her hair, was long, luscious, beautiful hair. And what I did, we actually was on the Nazim Hussein radio show, and I sneak out after the show, standing, waiting patiently for Sonia. And I said, Sonia, we have to be friends from moving forward and from now on. And as I said, my voice is not doing too good, but I'm going to hand things over to my co-host. But before I do that, I want to say in the Ghanaian language, Aquaba.
You see?
Aquaba. Aquaba. And it just means
we are going to be talking so much more
welcome
about how
to the
welcoming
studio.
they
Yes.
are, you know.
Yes. So over to welcome again.
Flowers,
Oh yeah, and guess what? You know, I give Sonia this flower just to represent our love that we've got for all these years. So
Thank
this is
you.
for you on behalf of myself and my co-host.
I love flowers. Look, see. Thank you so much.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you.
from Sonia.
And it's so nice meeting you for the first
Oh,
time.
likewise.
But right
it's
away
such
when we
pleasure.
met, you think that we met before, right?
Yeah, it's such a
Yes.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, top of the evening to all of you, my dear family, friends, and followers of the From Our Hearts with Radhika and Ken. It's been 2, maybe 3 weeks that I haven't seen you guys. That I've last touch bases with my family, my radio family, but the love is here in my
That's
heart, right? I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, some good Black Friday shopping, and some Cyber Monday deals as well. Okay, and keep those stretch pants that you use for Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the bend, okay? So you will be needing them again. You know, every time I try to go on a diet, you know what happens? a holiday comes along.
And you forget about the
And
diet.
you forget about the diet, right? Yes. Well, you know, a girl has got to eat. So
Right.
that's it. Anyway, Ken, I'm happy to see that you are a little better today. And I think Sonia's giving you some extra boom there. Yeah. I know it's been a couple of tough weeks for you.
Oh, yeah. One
But
month.
yeah, you are getting back. Soon, I want to see you in top
Ken
form.
is an overcomer, you know.
Yeah, I know. So this evening, we are honored and delighted to have a very distinguished guest with us this evening. She's right here in the hot seat, a beautiful and talented woman who wears many hats and embraces them all with pride. Sonia Elizabeth Noel. I got your middle
Thank you.
name.
Yes, Elizabeth, yes.
So, and all her different hats, right, are distinct parts of her identity. She has found her purpose in life, and she loves it. And many people have found their purpose in life through your programs, Sonia. Thank you very much for leading the way and being a guide for all us lost souls who doesn't know where
But
we're
you're doing
going.
the same thing too, and Ken too. And so I think we all, the three of us, are very
Yeah.
blessed to have
to,
found our
to have
purpose, yeah.
yes. So Sonia, you're a John Maxwell trained coach, right? Entrepreneur, a philanthropist, mentor, fashion designer, a speaker, an author. You're an Amazon bestseller. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You're a role model to so many. You're a cultural ambassador. You're also the ambassador for the Good
Unite for good.
Ye-
Yeah.
United for
organization.
Good, right? Yeah, for Good Foundation, and you are the founder of the Sonia Noel Foundation, SNF. You advocate for support and communication with each other. You know, how does Sonia handle all these hats? You stack them one on top the other, or you just which one has priority that day?
I think, and thank you so much, Ken, for inviting me. Thank you so much, Radhika, for hosting me here tonight. It's such an honor. I see my friend Sarah. Sarah,
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah.
oh, she's such a sweetheart. I love her so much.
Oh, we all love Sarah.
Yeah, she's just such a role model herself. But coming back to the question you asked about the hats and the balance, a lot of time people ask about the balance. And I really don't think that we can quite find that balance. What we do is try to find a blend that works well, you know, with your personal life and your professional life. Because finding that balance, sometimes you would, for decades, you're pursuing that. And then you get very frustrated when you can't find it. You're like, man, God, this thing is not. So what I have done over the years is try to find a blend. Like, for example, if you want a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, who takes milk and sugar, the right blends and it tastes like, my God, this cup tastes so good. A blend
gosh.
of whatever. So that's how I live my life. Because I think we have to find a way also for, no matter how busy we are, for me time. And I do that. I go to the spa, I look at a movie, I just go and hang with some girls, like when I was in New Jersey on Saturday. So I do find those times when I have to recharge because I need to serve for my overflow. If I don't serve for my overflow, I'm not going to be effective, right? So I have to find that time out sometimes when I don't even answer my phone. Then I have my grandkids that I want to be with. Then I have
Yes.
my mother that I absolutely adore. So I have to find that family time. Then I'm a mentor to so many too. So thank God. I tell you, sometimes I look back and I said, it has to be God because how do I find the time to do so many things and from all reports do it pretty well. So I'm
Yeah,
thankful.
but you're doing a fantastic job juggling all those, you know.
And passion, Radhika, you see, it's important that you do things from the heart. You see, that propels passion. You see, when you love what you do, even when you're tired, you don't feel anyway. You get the extra energy there because of the
Exactly.
passion. But when you don't like something, because it draws from you. So
Right.
because I love what I do, it multiplies the energy.
Yes, I do believe that
That's-
sometimes you're feeling lax, you know, you're feeling a bit, okay, I don't want to do this. But once you get on the go, as I told Ken said, I'm not feeling too good. I said, you just go in front that mic, and you see how he's
Look at the smile.
he's a
Look
different
at the
person
smile.
now, right? So So Sonia, you're also the mother of two beautiful girls,
Oh, yeah.
and grandmother of two grandchildren, right?
Yeah.
Jaden
And Peyton.
Peyton, right? Yeah, I heard you saying that you would like to take them on a trip to Africa.
Of
with
course
you
they're
once.
going. Like I actually got a message from Jaden. He's like, "Grandma, oh, I'm so happy to hear you coming home soon. I miss you." But he's a storyteller also, and he
Oh,
would
wow.
oh my gosh,
Genetic.
So he's only waiting for me to tell all these stories. He's gonna have like a million questions. But Mariska is 31 and Shante is 26. And when I look at my two girls, that's I think some of the proudest moments I've experienced with both of them.
Right.
And I was sharing recently when we were talking about single mothers, and you know it's very difficult for those of us nowadays. I'm telling you, looking back, I look at my two girls and I'm like, I could not have done this alone. I had a good family support, and of course, my faith in God. That really helped me. And when I looked at, I mentioned it in my book, Living with Intention, one of my proudest moments in 2015 would definitely be when I went to Belize with Shante. She was she was actually the top student in business for CAPE, not CSEC, for CAPE.
Wow.
And being there that evening, and Professor Hilary Reckles said, the parents of the brightest minds in the region, the academic stars of the region, and they were standing there, can you stand?
Oh,
I couldn't hold back the tears. It was like, you remember the very difficult times, because, there are times difficulty with finances and everything else growing up with, because when you have a father not contributing anything, it could be really difficult. And I look at my baby up there, being called one of the academic stars
All
of the
right.
region,
Yes.
not just her country. Oh
Right.
my God, I felt like screaming.
I can imagine that
Yeah.
pride and that
And
elation.
It is, and like
It's-
now when I go, like Mariska, she works for Rams Logistics, and she everywhere you go, people will be like, "Your daughter is so dedicated. Oh, she's such a force to reckon with. Oh, she's so articulate. Or she's so." So every time I hear about the two of them, actually, I joke about it when I come to New York, when I meet her alumni from Roses. They would say, "Oh, you're Shantae's mother now." I said, "Okay, I reduced from being son-in-law to Shantae's mother, right?" I joke about it, but I'm very proud of my girls. Like really, really proud of them. Yeah.
That's when you know your kids are doing good.
Yes.
When they're no longer Sonia's daughter, you become Shantae's
Exactly,
mom
Shantae's
or
mom,
Mariska's
yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Sonia, you were born in Bartica, right?
Bartica,
And
yeah.
beautiful Bartica,
Bartica,
yeah.
Red Earth.
Red girl.
And you were a high school teacher there.
Yeah.
You're a former high school teacher there in your hometown. Yeah. As I said, you were a small town girl with very big dreams, very big dreams. And you have always believed that anything is possible. If you dream it, you can achieve it, right? So tell us about the young Sonia growing up
I could
in
tell you a little bit.
Bartica.
She had all them boys turning heads.
I
when
can
she walked.
imagine.
You know,
I
she
can
little red skin,
imagine.
you know, Guyana.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ken,
Well,
you
was
see,
like-
you see how he's back. You see
I
the
told you
energy he
he's a
has?
flirt.
They got all them. She got the whole Bartica regatta and thing crazy.
I actually was Miss Bartica Regatta first runner-up. Yes.
Oh,
I
congratulations.
was part of the committee for a number of lots of years. But being a school teacher, it wasn't one of the things that I said, okay, as my career, I said I wanted to be many things. School teacher was not one of them. I wanted to be a nurse because I like the way they look in their uniforms. Not good enough reason. I wanted to be a stewardess because I wanted to fly. I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I realized that we didn't really have the money to do that. So when the education officer called me and said, Sonia, we need you to give back to your community, I said, I'll give you 2 years. Right? And I said, okay, because I think it's important to serve. Like Martin Luther King said, not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great, because
Yes.
greatness is determined by service.
They do.
Right.
So being a school teacher for the 2 years, I actually got so close to the kids. I knew that it wasn't my calling. I knew that it wasn't part of my career plans. Creativity, for the 2 years I invented so many things, Miss Bartica, schools and secondary school, all kind of things, like the wrong with modeling and so on, because
The
it was
career
me.
was just there
Fashion
trying
shows
to-
and all of that, you know. And but honestly, I really got, like, now when I go back home, people that didn't know as a teacher, they said, Teacher Sonia is like, as a grown man or a grown woman, and say, come meet my grandchild. I was like, yes, someone got more grandkids than me, you know, because I mean, I was a young teacher. But it's really great when they would come, Teacher Sonia, you don't understand, and they would tell me something. But back then, and then they said, but you're the strict bad, you know? Because when you realize when you're young and you're teaching young kids
Yes,
yourself,
you have
you
to.
can't make joke with them.
Right.
But now when
Yeah.
I see some of them that are grown, there's not time I go home and I don't just meet some of them and we chat and we gaff and they'll say, but you know when we see on TV, we still be children. That you know that was my teacher. You know? So I planned to do a reunion with them. But rewinding to that because before doing all of that, as a young child, even my mom actually at some point in her life, she was a single mom with 5 of us. And I knew that I had to help somehow because money was scarce. Daddy said, he ain't looking at us if we ain't coming back. So I started making plantain chips and sugar cake and so on and going to school, selling it at school, right? So
Always creative, always inventive.
Not even knowing that my entrepreneurial journey started way back then.
Wow.
You know, I did it out of necessity to help my mother. And then as I got older, even at secondary school, that same fancy red girl that used to model, in the afternoon, I get my tray with my buns or pastries or something, and I hit the road.
And everything sell out.
Exactly.
I know.
You better just hire
Right.
here.
I started throwing box hunts since I was 10 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I would like take my hand around at the time when we have to get school clothing and like to help out and so on. But it really, when we look, they say environment breeds character is so true because when I look back at my upbringing and I look back at my journey, and we, you know, our story really it's really not for us, it's for someone else because it's like somebody else that's there with thinking that, because when people see me now who don't know my story, they think, okay, it's all glamorous and everything else. No, it wasn't always glamorous. And even within the glamour, it's a lot of hard work, you know?
Right.
And so being my upbringing in Bartica, we had simple things because we didn't have a whole lot of money. And we just the little things, me and my sister, like I just came from New Jersey with her, and we remember the times when we just make shift toys. But we were happy. And we sat there yesterday and we like, at Christmas, you know, the polish and the smell of vinyl and the smell of, you know, the plastic and the pot and the paint and all of that. You look forward to breaking up your house, putting it back. And then sometimes it's just a little cover you put on the chair that makes a difference. You don't have money to go buy no set, you know. But even if it's a little doll or whatever it is, we were so grateful and so happy, you know. And I must say that my granny, she took us in when we had nowhere to go. And my aunts and my uncles and the extended family, oh my God, they were such a support for mommy. They really were. And that's why they said it takes a village sometimes to raise a child, right?
Correct.
But coming from where, like, I can remember being at Brown University. I was the first Caribbean designer to go there to do a presentation on Caribbean fashion. And I can remember that evening, it was so still, like the place was so quiet. And you know, the Ivy League school. And I'm thinking, this little girl that had a dream, that little girl that walked with the tray and just called out, "Hi, Miss Gladys, do you want any cake today?" That little girl, look where she is now, one of the most prestigious universities.
I'm tearing up here.
Yeah, and to think that if I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
My God, my hat's off to you.
You make me part, not cry now. But
because I'm imagining the whole I'm imagining the whole scenario going
streets
through.
and 9th
Oh my
Avenue,
God!
9
At 10 years old, yeah.
And you know, one of the things is that, Sonia, people see us sitting, being here doing these shows, but we went through a lot of things in life to make us the kind of people that we are.
Yes.
You know, and all our pain, you and my co-host, we all went through some things in life to make us define human being, that the refined human being you see really. You know, so it was not easy. And sometimes when we sit down, we tear up, we cry because of the journey. Right? And we will talk a little more about that when we get into our discussion about Ghana. You know, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to do a couple shout-outs
Go
in
ahead,
the
do your
meantime,
shout-outs.
right? Yeah. So we have Apache Warrior, our very own Apache Warrior. How are you doing today? He loved the song, he says. And Tara, hi Tara. Ken and I'm good. Ken is a little bit shaky.
That's all right. It's not going to stop me. But, you know, Taramati actually is the principal nursing officer in Guyana. She held a very big position over there. She just retired about 2 years now. So.
Okay. We have our dear friends, Sarah, Samka. How are you doing, Sarah? Good to have you on tonight. And we also have Dolly. Oh, I can't say the name. Dali Shahid. Shahiki?
Yeah, Shahid. I didn't see her a long time.
Yes, yes. Princess Karina, welcome to the show. Michael and Nalini, always our loyal
Right.
listener.
Listeners.
Yeah. Sita Ramsamoj, good night. Jean, I can't see.
Um,
Jean Bismuth, good night. Michael, she's saying, Nalini saying good night to you. Sonia Chandani, good night, Sonia. How are you doing? I heard you had a bang on weekend, girl.
She
Anyway,
looked hot.
yes.
She was burning down the place.
She was burning down the place, so that's what I heard.
I like to add a little spice in things, you know what I'm saying? She was burning. I had a fire truck outside. She didn't know that.
Yeah, Sonia says you both share the name, so she knows you're just as amazing.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Sonia is actually one of our stars here in New York. She's a singer.
Michael Nalini says they can't stop eating too. Hi, Sherry. Sherry's back from Dubai. Hope you had a great trip, Sherry. We'll talk later. Good night from Ken and myself. Good night. Good night. All right. Sonia says she right. Make time for your well-being. Correct. That's right. We have Sonam Singh, Taramati Barker.
Yes.
Michael again. She's saying wow to whatever we were saying then.
Anita Ishdola is watching all the way from
that's
Canada. Sister.
Ken's sister all the way from
Nadira
Canada.
Budram, thank you very much. You know, I love. I
Oh,
don't know.
Nadira. Nadira's on my other sweetheart. She's an amazing.
She is.
She is part of the Women Across Borders, the anthology. She shared her story there. We speak, even if we, like, on this trip where we've been communicating a lot, but Nadira has been one of those stalwarts. Back in some of the projects like I do, like the bread basket where we share bread that is
Yeah.
free and so on.
I have a question.
Nadira, love you, baby.
I love Nadira too. I met her a
At
couple
the
of
book
weeks.
signing,
Yeah.
right, yes.
And
Yes.
I just fall in love with her. She has such a dynamic personality.
She's amazing.
And not that alone, she is very pretty.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Jesus, from Nazareth.
Looking, right?
Yeah, his voice goes, but nothing's wrong with his sight, you know?
Yeah, no, I can see him still, you know.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tara Singh, a very good evening to you. She says, I'm just back from Dallas. Had a great time with my brother and his family.
Okay.
Michael and Nini, I cannot say, when I get old, I want to be just like them. She and her husband,
They are a
just,
power couple.
they are
and
power
they-
couple in
yeah.
our community. They're always decked out and always supporting us. So we love you like cooked
important.
food, all right? Sherry, good evening to you, darling. Love you back too, okay? And your friend Nadira said, thank you, Ken. I loved Listen, I believe as a man or anybody, when someone is beautiful, we should be able to compliment them without any attachment. I want to do that. I'm doing it. I don't care.
But you do it all the time.
All the time,
Yeah,
yes.
no.
I want to send a big basket of love to Sarah.
She
I
deserves
love
it.
Sarah,
She does.
and I know she's going through a little tough time, and but don't worry, Sonia and myself and Radhika, we have your back.
Yes.
They have
She
your
knows
front all
that.
over the place.
Yeah,
All right,
she
go ahead.
knows that.
Yeah. So, Sonia, let's get back. As a John Maxwell trained coach, right? You are a role model and mentor to young creatives in Guyana and throughout the region as well. And I don't know, in the Caribbean, you've gone to the Caribbean as well. So you encourage, you inspire, you empower them to achieve their goals through your training shop Vision of Hope, right? Can you tell us a little bit about Vision of Hope, please?
Yes, because we do a program called Confident Becomes You and the Healthy Thoughts Challenge. Actually, Sarah was part of that program, and she said it really shifted her mindset. Because everything starts with the mind. Everything starts with that thought. And that's why it's important, no matter where you are, whatever resources you have, if you don't think right, you're not going to use it right. So we have to have people learn how to win from the inside. Because when you learn to win from the inside, the outside can be fixed. Don't even bother what goes on because it actually shines through. So when we do the program for you to recognize that you have to love you first, because if you don't love you first, you can't expect anyone else to love you.
Exactly.
And when you have something like confidence in your toolkit, confidence and faith, when I look at my life and I look at all the rough patches and all the valley moments. And seeing as I'm touching on the valley moments, don't be afraid of your valleys. Your valleys is what's going to get you back to the mountaintop. Because we all have those moments when it's so dark and it gets so dismal and it gets like if it's just alone and you feel as if there's no one else there. For me, I have learned how to celebrate even when I'm in that valley, because there's just something about that know that you're looking at. There's no mountains without valleys. So if you don't have those valley moments, you cannot have the mountaintop. So when you get back up there, you appreciate more when you're here. And I think what the valley moments has taught me is that in those moments you can grow. You can grow more than when you're up there, because when you feel all the difficulties and you feel all like if you're just right there and you want to give up so bad, that is when the growth is happening. So the program that we have, and two persons tonight will be winning complimentary programs to that. She's going to talk a little bit more about that. But that program has helped hundreds. Even I probably we've gone into the thousands now of people who shifted their mindset and did things that they never even thought was possible. It's important that we surround ourselves with people of like minds. People,
Amen.
people that are going to push you up. You have an idea. Okay, how am I going to help you? Not, oh no, I don't think you can do that. No. Those things are for people like those, not people like you.
Positive vibes,
exactly.
and we can
you always
do
have
it.
You have to have that mindset. And like Mahatma Gandhi said, I will not allow anyone with dirty feet to walk through my mind. And you have to think about here as premium real estate. Tell yourself negativity can't rent space much as buy it, dear. Here is too expensive, my dear.
Love
so
it.
between here to here, you have to just protect that, because your peace is your power.
Yes.
Right? Don't let anyone take that away from you.
You sound like a preacher doctor too.
So viewers, yes, as we were saying, Sonia has Dr. Sonia
Oh, so it's good. It's okay.
She has a program starting next week, right?
Oh,
It's
yes,
next
virtual.
week. She's a virtual program, and tonight she would like to give 2 spaces to 2 winners, and maybe we should ask a question, and the first 2 people to answer the question, they'll be getting And this here is to enable you, to empower you, to see, as she's saying, the insight to lead you where you want to go, get your goals accomplished.
Give the world
because
the best version of you.
as long as she said, if you dream it, you can achieve it, and dream big, you can achieve it, right? So we will be asking a question tonight. Any thoughts on a question that we can?
I know we're going to come with something a little late in the program, but just
All right.
just stay tuned. You're going to get that question, and trust me, this program I have seen transformation, and you can be next.
Exactly.
All right, I like the attitude you say to it.
Yes. I'm thinking that I'll be subscribing soon too. So what I want to know, you advocate for support and communication with each other. You encourage healthy living, right? And what advice can you give to our viewers regarding healthy living and
Wellness and well-being.
Mhm.
I think for the last 3 years with COVID and everything, I think most people realize now how important it is to take care of ourselves. Our immune system needs to be of a certain level. And sometimes it's just very simple things that we have to do. Sometimes just take a break, go in the yard, take your shoes off, just connect with nature. Whether it's mud, sand, grass, or whatever you're touching. Like every day, try to find that time to meditate. Try to find that time to build your spirituality, because that has helped me. You see my spiritual growth? That is what really, that is like, to me, that is the center of, that is that engine that pushes me. And like when, coming back to the thought again, too many times we look at someone or look at something and always see the negative. Every day, intentionally, try to see the beauty in people. Try to see the beauty in your environment, a tree. Just look at the flowers, just touch it, smell it, do something. Even your organs, every day, try to, thank your heart for pumping blood around the body, for these feet taking you everywhere. We take it for granted that when we go for that next breath, it's going to be there. From the time we are talking here, so many people drew the last one. Be grateful, gratitude.
Gratitude.
Every day, show gratitude for the smallest of things.
that makes a big difference?
You see, in the morning when I'm consciously awake, even before I get off my bed, I said, thank you, God. I don't even know if everything is working, but I thank you. Yeah. And I am, it's like, I can tell you a moment when I had to show gratitude. The most difficult time I had to show gratitude. My foster dad, who's my real dad. That's the only dad that I really know. He died 2 years ago, and I was alone with him at the hospital. After a brief illness, he never complained. He never a person to complain. And I can remember holding his hand. I'm holding his hand. And he's on the bed in the ICU, and I'm talking to him, telling him to be brave. Everything's going to be fine, and how he's a great guy and everything. And his hands start loosening getting weak. And I looked at the monitor, and it was getting flat. My brother had just died 11 months earlier. So we were now dealing with that. And at that moment, when I realized what was happening, I was about to say, God, why? In a split second, I had to twist my mindset and said, God, I thank you for the 37 years.
Yes.
You put such a wonderful man in my life.
Nice.
That was
You see
one of
how you turned out?
that was one of the most difficult gratitude moments in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes, the mindset that you say,
Mindset,
the
yes.
mindset. Yes.
And Sonia, you're right. I think yesterday I put a post. You have to start saying, show gratitude for little things, because if you can't show gratitude for small things, then you can't show gratitude for big things, and it really takes you far away. And I say it all the time. I think that's why I am a little successful, not little.
Big
That's why
successful.
I am successful,
Yeah.
because I appreciate the little things that people do for me in my life.
And a lot of times, coming back to gratitude and appreciation, too many times we talk about wellness and well-being. Too many times people focus so much on that destination, you miss the beauty along the
Of
way.
the journey.
So you just focus, along the way, left and right. There are beautiful things along the way, but you miss it because you're too focused on that. And we have to find ways of living in the moment. Like the only moment we're certain of right now is here
Now.
and here with you. Right now we're chatting.
Exactly.
Be in that moment and enjoy the moment. Listen. Like this, I enjoy this cup of tea that Ken made for me. I sip it and I just taste, So there's little things like that. So even sometimes people hurry their food, eating your food just to be satisfied. No, you're just not eating that to fill your belly. You eating that food, just taste the seasoning. Try to identify the spices.
Yeah.
Just
Take your
chew-
time.
just- yeah.
Savor it.
Also, Sonia,
Thank
that cup of tea was made with a lot of love
A lot of love.
and served with a lot of love. You see what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree. There's those that they say whatever else was in there was a lot of portion of love there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ken.
You're welcome.
What would you say was your greatest lesson in life?
My greatest lesson in life is when I realized that I was enough. When I realized that God made all of us with all the elements and everything to succeed. And, too many times when I realized I don't have to wait on somebody else to validate me. I have to learn to win from the inside, right? The outside, no. The door of courage swings from the inside and only I have the key.
You have the key. Exactly.
Right? So when I realized that was it. Everything is there, Sonia. Nothing is lacking. But you just have to unearth it. You just have to look. You just have to go a bit deeper. Like when we look at, like for example, like buildings and foundations. The foundation is so important to relationships, to everything, to a home, just like a home. Because you can't want to build a 3-story house and put a foundation for 1 story.
Yes.
So when I realized that foundation of whatever is in there, like if for the skyscrapers, you got to go deep. Excavator got to go down to go up. So when I realized whatever it is that I'm going through, I have to go deeper. I have to go down to go up. One of the best lessons I've
As you said, the valley
Yes.
to go to
Yeah.
steep up.
Get
right?
up to the mountain. Have to get into the valley.
That's curiosity. Are any of your daughters following in your footsteps?
Well, they both are very creative. Shante actually has a business that creates, she does a lot of cards and like team parties and luxury picnics and stuff like that. None of them are actually doing fashion.
Oh, really?
No. They both are creative. I actually thought at one time Shante would have, and but I'm the kind of mother, even if they are not, even though I would have liked that, I support both of them. Like Mariska, she was doing medicine at first. She was at UE in
Oh,
Jamaica.
really?
Yeah, she was doing medicine.
Oh, wow.
And then she decided to switch careers. And I wasn't angry at her. whatever, I'll support her. If this is what you want to do, if you want to sweep streets, maybe be the best sweeper.
Best sweeper,
Right.
correct.
Good for you.
Right, just be. So I'm never the type to say, no, you have to do this. You have to be a lawyer. You got to be a doctor. You got to be. I've never been that type. Whatever you like, baby. Even though when she became the best student, it wasn't pressure at all for me. She's just a natural talent, you know. It's like whatever it is. If you give your best and it's 50%, I'll be pleased.
Good
Yeah,
for
you give your
Yeah.
best shot at
Yeah.
anything, right?
Let me say hello to Arjun Jawahir. Good evening. Ravindra Ramcharan. Shamiza Hussein watching from Venezuela. Jayasri Sarju. Good evening, my dear. Pamela Jeffers watching from Pennsylvania. Good evening. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tolerating this voice. But guess what? You will get the love. Don't worry. And go ahead.
All right. So with all these activities that you do, you said you do self-care. You take your time for yourself. You do your spa. You do the nails. Your
I
little
read.
time for yourself.
Yeah, I write.
You write. Oh, is writing like a little escape
It's
from?
therapeutic.
Yes,
It is.
It is,
It
right?
really is. And like
Yeah.
I write every week for the newspapers, for Chronicle. I have a column there every week. And actually, when I go home tonight, I'll be writing my column. But what I have found that writing, it is therapeutic. I can remember writing one of the chapters for Women Across Borders. And I was writing about a father I barely knew, right? And I thought I had dealt with certain emotions when it comes to my father, and I didn't. What writing does, it brings things to the surface,
Right.
you know, that you had here that you thought you
Yes.
dealt
Yes.
with, because it's a revelation. And I can remember being at Arrow Point that day, and I was on my computer. Say, okay, I need to finish this chapter, and I closed that computer because I couldn't deal with what I was writing. I thought I dealt with it, and I didn't. And I just went straight into the water, and I walked until the water got here, like right here. And I said, Sonia, you need to really forgive him. I'm not just saying that you forgive him. You have to let go. You have to really forgive him. And I can truly say that I haven't half forgiven my father. I have fully forgiven my father. Because forgiveness is not for the person, it's for you.
For you.
Because a lot of time people say, oh, I can't forgive this person. They did. No. It's not for that person. It is for you.
I truly believe
Yeah.
that. Too.
Yeah.
And we had a program on forgiveness, and
Yeah.
we both concur in that.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So, but Sonia, I meant to say too, I want to say thank you too, because since you met me in 2018, you asked me to read your
Excerpts
excerpt
from
from your book, and that was such an honor. Then anytime you went to Ghana and said, can you write something?
Yeah.
You've always kept me in the loop of good things, and I really appreciate it.
Because you're one of the
Thank
positive
you.
persons that I like to be around.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
you have so much to offer too. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for the excerpt from Ghana.
Oh yeah. Oh, God.
So you're a committed philanthropist, right? A woman of faith, as we mentioned before, and you have a deep love for mankind. That's why all these emotions and all these thoughts of helping humanity comes forward. You're always trying for a better humanity, right? Okay. So you have become a powerful cultural ambassador. Hats off to you, right? And you want to instill this concept of love to generate a bit better living for better living laws, right? That is one of your goals. You started a bread project.
basket.
Bread basket project. Yes. Would you like to tell us about this project?
Yes, and I like the idea you mentioned love, because we have to not just love ourselves, we have to love others and the environment, because the environment plays such a big part in our lives. If you know the things that are, when you notice what's happening right now, it's because of the lack of love and a lot of stuff that was done to the environment. So it's important. We actually launched a project called the Love Revolution, where we pin. Just before COVID, we couldn't actually interact with people. We're going to relaunch that. But the pin that we put on there with the message of love was not for you, was for you to pin on someone else and to have a conversation about love.
Oh.
And that was going like really good. We had people like in Brazil that got a pin from somebody in some other country, and they would share the picture and stuff. So, but we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing it again. Coming back to the bread basket. Growing up and being very poor, a bread might not be a big deal to some people, but
Right.
it really was a big deal sometimes. Sometimes that is what really made you not go to bed hungry. And I thought about it. They're doing this project where um, we every Friday we give bread to different areas, and well, I also do a project on the street where we do where we feed the people on the street. But this one I wanted it to be more consistent, and I would get community leaders, people who know the people that are really in need. So like different areas, like as far as Linden and Kukwani, even far as Region 9, going up to Fairview and all of those, where we can send bread, we send, and we have had, and it's a project that not one picture is taken. So you would never see nobody with any.
Wow.
Yes, I didn't. I just, it is, the people are already, people that are in need already have this little insecurity and feeling like kind of shy.
Right.
So stand there, take a picture with food, I hate it, right? So we have had, I have so many mental pictures in my head of the reactions. And then some of it that will be relayed to me by people saying, you know what, me and my kids, I have bush in the yard and I have some sugar. 3 days we're going to eat this, we're not going to be hungry. People start like breaking down, crying, like for that one bread. Because then, how did you know I have nothing at home? You know? So that comes back again with God and the way he works.
God doesn't come, he sends.
Yes, yes. So that project there, like I'm away. I'm away for 6 weeks, but the people on the street are still getting fed. You know,
Right.
Wow.
even though I'm
You,
away.
you
Yes.
have your team working.
Listen, but like when they don't see me, like, oh, I will sit. They say, wait, when? Because when I go home, we chat with them and
Right,
so,
right,
right?
right.
And they say, but you just make the best coffee, I don't even really drink coffee. But they said, you just put the right sugar, the right water. It's just like, I love rapping with them.
Right,
Like,
right.
and one day, one of them read something. Well, they don't even know my name, a lot of them. But one of them read something in the papers, and then he's like, remember, I tell you, she's the real deal. There's a lady that's been in the paper. And it was like laughing, And then, they really, I just love their stories. I mean, sometimes they say some of the funniest things. And, then somebody asks them, what happened? Tell me about your life, Because I just don't want to just give them and just walk away. I just like to have build
Right.
a relationship with them. So when they see
Exactly.
me, it's like a body,
Yeah,
turning
you
up.
become a friend.
Yeah, but these are things that I've been doing for years. And I can remember my first fashion show for 20 years ago. We did it for Joshua House, the orphanage that's there. Because I always knew, I'm always so conscious of where I'm from, and I'm always so conscious of people that are in need. And that's one of the things, if I did it even in Ghana, when I see little kids selling stuff, I buy it because I was once a little kid.
Yeah.
So whether I want it or not, I just buy it from them,
Right,
right,
right.
to encourage them. So when I'm in the streets in Georgia and I see kids with a little tray, I say, come, what do you have there? And I would just buy it. Because coming back to humanity again, for me, I connect with people by their heart. It's like, I don't care what you have. What are you doing for humanity? That is what impressed me, not what you have. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right, so let's get on the fashion show. You have been in the fashion industry for more than 25 years,
Yeah.
right? More than 25 years. And you are very proud of your Amerindian heritage,
Yes.
right? You have ventured your indigenous South American creativity together with the Caribbean flair, and you have made a unique fashion under the Sonia Noel brand, right? Your designs have been worn by well-known celebrities, one of them being
Michelle Williams, Destiny's
Michelle,
Child.
yeah,
Really?
Destiny Child, yeah,
Good for you.
yes.
Yeah.
And you have your creations are from beachwear to
Beach to the
ballroom,
ballroom, yeah.
to beachwear, And I also saw you have some accessories.
Yes.
Yes. So what is your lining? What do your lines?
It's Sonia
Clothing,
Noel.
accessories, what else?
Yes. And this, as I say, from the beach to the ballroom. And it was actually, people wore my times to the Grammys and the Emmy, both of them too.
Nice.
When I was in South Africa recently, they had this red carpet event, and I wore a beautiful one of my creations. And it was a bit of indigenous and Afro, like the fusion mix, right? And I wore this headpiece. I don't know if you saw it. With this
I see all
headpiece
the
and-
picture them,
yeah.
yeah.
And when I walked in there, it was like, oh my, like my friend said, oh, you shut the dance down, right? It was just the mixture, and it was different, right? The next day, the cape that I wear over, I was on the beach in Cape Town. It's from the beach to the bottom. So the next day, all I did is the fancy bottom, and then this here could have been worn 4 different ways, 4 or 5 different ways. So I like the versatility. When I'm doing something, I like it must have more than one function. It mustn't just buy just to go here, and it must also be unique. I always, growing up, I never wanted to be like anyone else. You know, it's my hair and everything is different. I always like, I don't mind standing out. And for people who you think that standing out is going to get you too much, some people say, oh, I just want to blend in because whatever. No, 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 no. Too many people are blending in.
Yeah.
Yes, be you, be your authentic self. If they can't, listen, if they can't handle your shine, let them put on sunglasses. It's very simple. You just don't dim your shine for nobody else, right?
Exactly.
So I've always been that, and even that I incorporated that even in my design concepts. Like it's really different. Even as I traveled through the continent and I wore my stuff, I mean, it was really awesome to see people reaction to it.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, where can we get that? You know, it was really
That
awesome.
was going to be my question, Sonia. Where can we get Sonia Noel
Noel
brands of clothing and?
Well, we actually working on
accessories?
more of an online presence now because I had a few shops in Guyana and actually when I lived in Barbados I had 2 shops there, but now everything is more virtual, so we're working on more of that online presence.
Okay.
But I don't do as much custom made like I used to because it takes up a lot of time. So it's going to be more like the not the very difficult ones, the ones that it's going to be more like the tops, but the difficult ones that you see all the latticing around. And by the way, that came from the architecture in Guyana, the latticing work. I incorporated that years ago in my work. Yes.
Oh wow.
That's where that came from.
See,
Yeah.
creativity.
She is.
You look at something and snap. The ideas come.
Joy, a very good evening to you. Thanks for watching. Anita says, Sonia wears her colors so beautiful. Sabita Shaw is watching. Thank you very much. Joy, thanks again. Okay. Stanley Ramsaran, a very good evening to you. Stanley is from New Jersey. Good night, Pandit Arjun. Thanks for watching the show. I want to say someone is watching from Dallas, Texas, or Houston, Texas, but I forgot his name. Oh, Billy Rameshwar. Good evening. He's from Texas. You know, Sonia, one of the things, a part of this show is to spread love. And we must acknowledge our viewers. Let them know that
I agree.
because of them, we are here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they feel appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Sonia, again, you are a renowned author of more than 10 books, and you have one being published currently, right? As I said, you're a best-selling Amazon author. Congrats once again. I've got to say that. You have hosted book tours in Guyana, in the regions, and the Caribbean, I guess, and the more than 14 cities here in the United States of America, right? I want to ask you, what motivates you? Well, you just said relaxation is one of your motivation. You get inspired and you write your books as a form of relaxation as well. But your books have journeys, they have pilgrimages. What motivates you to write these books?
When I wrote my first book, Living with Intention, I realized that the impact my story had was just so overwhelming. And I thought about my friends who also have great stories, because through my journeys, I've met a lot of people that have overcome and have stories to share that can help others. And that's how my first anthology came about. So I called some of them and said, listen, I want the next book that I'm writing, I want you to co-author that with me. So that's how Nadira is one of the co-authors of one of the books.
Oh, okay.
And most people are like, you think I have a story? And shocking, some of them, when you give them the word count, when they said they don't think they have such a story that
They
so
pass
inspiring.
it.
They had a book, you know. So that's how we had Women Across Borders with a mission. We had Women Across Borders Fulfilling Purpose. We had So Into Greater Heights, and the other one is Rising from the Ashes. So after 4 Women Across Borders, we had Men Across Borders, because we can't live without each other. No matter what we say, it's important that both genders really, don't disrespect each other.
Exactly.
And then I did the Men Across Borders, and that was so amazing because it gives sometimes guys, you might think they don't want to tell their story, but some of them do when they get the opportunity. And that too was amazing. I had people from different parts of the world, because all of them, not just people from Guyana and the Caribbean, it's the French, all over that tell their story. And then we had the 365 invaluable life experiences, where you share just an invaluable life experience, a short story, where we had like like over 250 persons like contribute the stories to that one.
And everybody has
Yeah.
an experience.
Every life has a story, and every story is significant. You might think that and that's one of the reasons I love that we do a virtual writers retreat, where people come and they learn how to tell a compelling story. Because there are techniques in learning how to tell it. You can write a flat story, and somebody can take that story and just swing it right around and make it like people don't want to keep turning the pages. You know, Sarah wrote her book. She was part of our group, and some like Latoya just wrote hers from the retreat. And we had Beverly Ben, we had Wendy, we had somebody from Nigeria also that was part of the retreat, that they all are authors now. So you that's listening out there, you might think that you have a story, but it's not so significant. Trust me, it is. And then some people start a book for 10 years, and they're like, I have to finish it one day. Give yourself that. Don't say one day. There ain't nothing like one day. Give yourself a date. Give yourself a timeline when you're going to finish it. Like the person to my left.
That's just what I'm going to say. I'm watching at one, but I'm not going to say his name.
I have to get busy with that book.
Yeah.
I got to be on top of that with him to get that done.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it. I'd have to be more of a thorn in his side.
So one of your books was compilation of the runway.
Beyond the Runway, yes.
Beyond the runway, yeah. Beyond the runway,
Beyond the Runway,
yes.
yeah.
So that was also translated into the Spanish edition.
Yes, and one of the women across borders also, and a French.
And a French?
And French, yes.
Wow, way to go, girl.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. You know, we haven't spoken about your foundation, Sonia Noel's foundation, right? The main purpose I think you have is the development of the creative
No, the foundation is that, but
industry?
also we deal with people unfortunate circumstances. The foundation
it's a humanitarian
yes,
foundation
it is.
as
It
well.
is creative and humanitarian both. Yeah.
So it is in Guyana, and you have a team working, and
I have a very small team, very small team, but very effective. And we do a lot of work. Some of it you may see pictures, a lot of it you don't see pictures. Even like part of it, we did some work in Africa recently, the foundation, on this last trip here. Yeah, we got to do some work.
So how do you find the projects that they
Actually,
find
I
you?
have never,
or?
yes, I have, there's always people in need, so that when they know you do stuff, they call you. And I've never really gotten grants or anything like that. I've never actually written for that kind of thing, but I want to do that because as you get more resources, you do better work, right?
Exactly.
So like for the bread basket, for example, like women across borders, some of the women like Nadira and Leela and Desiree and those, they contribute, like, because we collaborated with the Treats Bakery, so we take the flour there and then they give us, they bake the bread. So it's collaboration with a bakery. And those are things like, you know, when you look around, there's so many things that you can do together, partnership.
Yeah.
Collaboration is a currency that we need to use more of, because sometimes alone you will go up to here, but together we go here, right?
Yes,
So that's why it's important that like World Care, Sarah's organization, she partnered with us more than once with my foundation in Guyana to do stuff there. And even on this trip to Africa, she sent 7 tablets there. Yeah, to be given to. Yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's always good. And Nadira. Nadira actually did not hesitate. She's going to be mentoring actually one of the young entrepreneurs in Africa, Nadira. She also contributed to one of the entrepreneurs there in Africa through the foundation. Yeah.
Very nice. You guys are doing wonderful work.
Yeah, I think every day, you know, you have to think about creative ways. And sometimes some people you don't have to be rich to do anything, you know.
True.
People think you have to be. No, sometimes it's just a kind word. Sometimes it's just picking up groceries for someone. Maybe it's cutting the grass in the yard. There's so many things that we can do. Maybe it's an older person that can't do certain things. You take them to the hospital. So we all can do in our own ways to do little things, you know, with a great big heart.
Exactly. And that's all it takes. You don't have to be rich, and you don't have to be,
No.
You just have to have the heart.
You just have to have a heart for
extend
humanity.
it.
Yeah.
True.
And as they used to say before, where one person can eat, 4 people can eat. So
Yeah, and you know,
share.
that heart sometimes comes from your upbringing, because like my mother, I always say her heart is gold and then diamond is just lined outside. Everybody that has met my mom knows she's just such an amazing woman. And even though we had very little, she found a way to give. Back then, I used to be very upset that she's giving it away because it wasn't a whole lot, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
me and my sister talk about that constantly. We'd be like, but we don't even have a lot, and look, she's giving it away. But we did not even realize that has nurtured our
Instilled
hearts,
in, yeah.
So that's why giving to me is like nothing. It's just part of my DNA, yeah. And then she got that from her mother.
I know. I can imagine
Yeah.
that because my mom was like that. My mom was like that, and I think I inherited a lot of her traits.
And that's
Yes.
a good trait. Like
Yes.
sometimes, like even for me, like I cook extra food. Sometimes I said, okay, I'm gonna just have a 10 box and just go on the road with it to just give it. That apart from the feed and the homeless, I just and so that's something you can do. Like cook for 2 other persons, maybe a coworker.
Right,
You know
right.
that
I
they're
do
not
that
doing
too.
They're
so
doing
well.
well,
You know?
exactly.
That's Carrie. I said, look, I bring this for you today. You don't have to, So those are little things that you can do. They're very and it doesn't cost much.
And sometimes the amount of food that you throw away in the garbage.
Well,
You
my
know.
kids know how much I hate wasting food
I
because there
hate
are
that
too many
too.
people. No, I don't know wasting. No, not at all.
So what I want to know, like, if someone comes to you in a domestic abuse situation, what advice would you give them?
And sorry to butt in, but I give the questions them to my co-host because of my voice. But I want to chip in here. In terms of domestic violence in Guyana, you did work on that already. Sonia, what's going on? How can we help our Guyanese women? I've been reading so many times, young girl get murdered, I'll get stabbed up and so on by the husband. How can we help? What can we do?
Only a few days ago, and when I read the online with this young girl from Linden, she was 22. He was
Right.
22 too.
Yeah.
And they have a child together,
Right.
just separated, and both of them are dead because they found him hanging.
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah, he stabbed 30 times. He stabbed
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
30 times. And you go from 1 to 30. She probably was dead before she got to
Yeah.
whatever. But it's really sad because those are very young people. And it doesn't limit just the young, because I've seen older people that are involved.
Right.
But my mom, as I mentioned before, my dad, let me tell you, I have seen it all in terms
Really?
of what? As a little girl, you'd always look at the parents or the persons but it affects kids so badly. I can tell you that because I was one of those kids. And I looked at my mom, and my mom, one day I asked mommy, why don't she leave, But my mom, confidence, because you know what, those guys, they beat your confidence down, like,
Right.
And then she's like, how am I going to leave? Look at the kids that I have. And she thought she couldn't even do better. My mom was a seamstress, right? And it's easy for us to say, from when I look back at my mom's situation, why don't they leave? Because when you're so dependent emotionally and otherwise on
Right.
someone, it's very, very hard. Because I've known about cases where people take them out and try to think, and then they go back. And then you said, they're stupid and they're this, but you can't judge because you're not in their shoes.
Right.
But I think we really need to have so much more conversations, coming back to the point I was making earlier. We have a lot of stuff for women and girls. And if there's so many broken young men that are growing up, and their society, they put all of these pressure, like you can't show emotions, you can't cry. When you cry, you're a sissy, you're a girl, and all of that. Because so from an early age, this thing has to come back to parenting. There's so many things. This thing has to go a level deeper for us to really get results. Because when you have young men that are so, they grow up with their own anger, and they're mad at the world, maybe their father's not there, and a whole lot of stuff, and then we expect people to give what they don't have. If we don't have that love and nurturing, and so when they're there now, who are we grooming our young girls for? If we are to, and that's one of the reasons I did the Men Across Borders and for International Men's Day for the 3rd year. This year I didn't get to do it because I was in Africa, but we have done events with young men and boys, because we have to have more conversations, because that is how, if you open the line of communication, you're going to get so much more results. So if we keep doing stuff for women and girls, and we're not doing anything for those young men that are falling through the cracks,
The
we're gonna
cycle
be in
continues.
problems.
We have to.
We have to intentionally do it.
And a lot of these young men, they do what they see their parents doing. And
Right,
it's
absolutely.
a cycle.
Right, and that's why it's coming back again to, like, and then the other thing is too, like, in terms, I don't have a son, I have a grandson, but you would find that sometimes even mothers are guilty of, they're boys, they allow them to play the field, and then their girls are like, oh, no, and like girls, oh, you're not allowed to do this. Yes, you're not, because the girls cook or the girls whatever. So we have to be really, really careful. It comes back again to parenting. But society, again, the pressure that it puts on a young boy and men, we really have to, if we have to be honest and just be very careful. The strategy has to change.
And that would be one way
The
to help.
strategy has to change.
Yeah, we got to start from young.
Yeah.
As what Frederick Douglass said, that it is better to nurture. It's better to nurture. It's better to nurture strong children than to repair broken men.
Yeah.
Because just like for example, alteration. As a designer, I don't want to alter nothing. It takes longer to lose that out, put it back. You can do something. So if we have the remedy, let's try to find that remedy that we can do it. Because when it gets to the alteration, it takes longer. Yeah, and it doesn't really come out sometimes the way you want it.
My mom was a seamstress too, and she always used to say that, when you do something, do it, take your time, do it properly
Because doing it
at
over
one time.
Oh.
Don't do it over again. Yes.
So we have to have more conversations. We have to both genders need to be more at the table for more open discussions and more communication. And that starts from, we have to go down to the impressionable minds in the schools.
True.
The schools,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
Correct.
because they
yes.
have to learn to respect. There's some young those young men, they don't respect them because they don't have that. So when the way they treat the girls, they talk to the girls in school, you could see from a very early age the aggression and everything else. So we really have to, if the home can't, they have to have outlets that can really alter that. Yeah.
I'm hoping that sometime next year I can do some work with the schools in Guyana, on my trip. So it's work. I'm going to take the next question about in Guyana, a lot of our young girls, they're killing themselves. Suicide is prevalent in Guyana. What's going on? How can we help? How can we help those who are feeling hopeless?
Again, it comes back to I know now it's probably a little better. One time we had a high suicide rate, remember?
Right.
That one, because it's per capita, they measure
Right,
that,
right.
even though our population is below
Right.
that's how.
Right.
And it is when you lose hope as a person, you live in, there's nothing you have to live for. Again, it comes back to are you thinking that you have a future? Do you have a shot at becoming anything? So a lot of times when the hopelessness steps in, and that is what you really don't want, your population, a big part of your population feeling hopeless, feeling that they don't stand a chance, feeling that there's nothing there for them. And if you look at the ages, it's like, wow. When you look at some of the statistics, it is very frightening. And again, coming back, you're thinking, okay, do they have friends? Do they have because in that, depression is something else. I have suffered from depression like years ago.
Oh, really?
And yes, and when I broke up with my daughter's father, and then I'm a single mother, don't have money, don't have this. I know what it feels like. You just feel like screaming. And when you feel hopeless, that depression gets you in a state where if you don't have good friends and pull you out. And for me, I think it was, of course, even though you have faith, you believe in God, but there are moments that you're knocked down so hard.
Yeah.
So even Christians have depression. Even pastors have depression. So depression, a lot of time, that leads to suicide in that split second. I could remember sending a message, because I do random things like, I have many Facebook friends. I would never meet them, but sometimes I just said, okay, this is my days. I'm sending messages to random people that I've never spoken to. And this lady said she was so depressed that she was just thinking about somebody died of cancer, somebody died, and she said she was at her lowest, she had no money. And I sent her an uplifting message. Just that little message took her out of that
depression,
that helped her to think about, what? She was thinking like, why am I living? This person died, this person this, I don't. And she said that message, she looked at it and she read it again. And she said, you have no idea how you saved me today. Just a message to someone. So sometimes it's just listening, But it is worrisome. It really is. And when you look at, when my sister was talking, she was like, this is the last days or something she was saying this morning to me, because it's, when you look there, you hear rest in peace. And you look at there, rest in peace again. When you look, it's like, and this is now age, And it's not just COVID, and COVID had its own effect on, of course, the world. But I think some of it indirectly too, because that also, a lot of people got depressed in that process. They might not have died from COVID. They might not even have had it, but there are other factors that,
Absolutely.
So that's why we have to be our brothers' keepers. We have to be our sisters' keepers. You know, sometimes just check randomly on people. You know, there's just very little things that sometimes can really help to prevent something as drastic as that.
True,
Yeah.
true. Yes.
That's a good thing. I also have messages. I like on Facebook. I like to post uplifting things,
Yes.
a joke, something that makes somebody laugh, and I get all these messages too. You know,
Yeah.
and some people tell me, oh, whenever I feel depressed or I feel down,
They
I go to
your
Radhika's page,
Yes,
and you know,
something uplifting.
and that is something that fulfills me as well. You know,
Yeah, I think everybody should strive to, whatever you're sending out there, be very careful. You have a responsibility. You might say, oh, this is my page, I can post anything, but you just have to be
No.
responsible. You know, if it's going to be something that is going to divide or subtract, no, if it's going to multiply, post it.
Yes.
And you know, one thing I like about you, I was telling my co-host, you are so smart. You never get into politics.
No,
I never hear you talk about politics.
no, I have so many other things, positive things to talk. I have so many things to talk about that I don't need to, and I have so many people to talk about it. So they, you know, but I really like to be able to look at a glass that's half empty, and I always believe that there's always a silver lining in any dark cloud. We just have to intentionally look for it. And like I wrote on my page a few weeks ago actually, be still and know that I'm God. I woke up one morning, and that's when I missed my flight in Atlanta. No thing of mine is Delta, and I'm in my hotel room. That's on my way to Cape Town, and I'm this thing came to my missed the first day of the conference, and it's like be still and know that I'm God. And I woke up that morning, and I said, you know what? There's a reason for everything. I might be disappointed. I missed the first day of the conference, but there's a reason why I have to be here, and that's why it's like I look at life. Now, first I probably would have gotten upset a few years ago. Well. But now I said there is a reason for this. I have to be in this hotel at this moment. Right? Yeah.
Things happen for a reason. Yes,
I do believe
everything
that.
happened. Yeah. So Sonia, I don't see you getting negative criticism, but what would be your what would you do if you ever got
I'm sure I've gotten
negative
my share.
criticism?
I've gotten my share. Even for the most positive of people and people that do well, people always find a way to do. You can't please everyone. You wouldn't even try. You would be really kidding yourself thinking that everybody's gonna like you.
True,
That's
true.
okay. I don't want everybody to like me. Who's gonna like me is gonna like me.
Right.
But let me tell you, like years and years ago, I'll be upset or something if I hear somebody say something about me. Right? That's years ago. That's not last decade or so. And then you'll feel, because you can spiral down with somebody saying, oh, she look good in that dress. I don't care. I like it. So that's a matter for you. That's your opinion and you're entitled to it. So for me, I don't, the way you say, you can, they said a seed has to get into the darkness and you got to get manure to actually think. So if you can give me free one and you throw it here, I'm thinking that it's dark, it's going to go on that seed and I blossom even more. And if the mountain was smooth, you couldn't get to the top. So all the rough patches that you think that you're going to try, I'm going to use this grip to go again. Put it in free fuel in my tank to keep going, my darling.
All right.
So, no, nobody can get to me. No, they can say what they want to say about me. No, because I have built a filter, right? So certain things don't pass here. So if it didn't pass, it can't get into that subconscious mind to do nothing to me. So I have like a guard here. It's like, okay, you're the wrong address. You don't come in here. And that's how we have to look at our thoughts too, the healthy thoughts. That one of the courses that we do, the Healthy Thoughts Challenge, that is what it teaches you how to filter and to have those thoughts, because by nature, there are more negative thoughts than positive. So if you don't learn to counteract that, you'll be in deep trouble. But criticism will be there, and no, they can't get to me. No.
Good. We got to learn to filter.
I'm wonderfully made, and I know my purpose, and I know, because you see, the thing is, when you don't know who you are, society can put labels on you. People can put labels on you.
Absolutely.
But you see, when you know who you are, okay, darling.
Yes, you know your worth. Right.
Not me. The labels are not going to stick. No.
Shalini Ramatara, very good evening to you. Shahid Baksh, thank you for watching. Also, Gwen Megan, thank you for watching.
Gwen Megan, that's my best friend.
Your friend?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Geeta Ramprasad is watching. She should be home anytime. Go ahead.
That's your wife, right?
Yeah. So, Sonia, my question to you, at this point of your life, what are you most proud of?
Other than my two girls, I'm most proud of the difference I've been able to make in lives, and And like I always say, like, you know, I must thank God for what He's doing for me and through me, because creating that legacy. And when I look, I've often, every time I pass a burial ground, I remember Miles Monroe saying that's the richest place in the world. And every time I go close to that tombstone, I look at the dash. And I think, what do I want my dash to reflect? Because you see that little dash there, that's some of the time you were born until you die. That's my life there. That my dash must matter, you know. And I'm so proud that I've been able to given the opportunity to have a front row seat to so many lives. And I think it's an honor and a privilege. So I am most proud of being able to make a difference in the lives of people.
Wow,
Good.
beautiful. Yeah.
We have a lot of more questions on this
We have
area.
a few more. I'm getting to your favorite part. He wants to go to Ghana.
We want to go to. I want to talk about Ghana. So
Yeah, he wants to go to Ghana. All right, I'll cut short the questions so we can go to Ghana.
So we can literally go to Ghana.
I'm traveling with you guys there. I
Right.
haven't
Yeah,
been
you have
physically
to.
there, but yeah. So, Sonia, I just want to know, I'll make this the last question, and I would like to ask the people one question so that we can do the giveaway as well. I want to ask you, in the far future, years from now, what would you like to be remembered as?
As someone who shine her light in the darkness, as somebody else would have, see a trail there to walk. As someone who wasn't afraid to speak up for someone else. As someone who saw humanity as a contribution that she needed to make. Someone who encouraged others to live the best version of their lives. Yes.
Yes, and you're certainly doing that, making a difference. You're making a difference in the world,
well,
not only in Guyana.
she's a bright light in this
Powerhouse,
world.
yes. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going to go to Ghana in a
Yes.
few minutes. So,
yeah.
Sonia, you have received multiple awards. I haven't mentioned that as yet. Not only in Guyana and the regions, but also internationally, right? You really do make us proud. You are an amazing woman. You are passionate, you're industrious, and a creative young lady. I am honored to know you, to meet you.
Thank you.
All
I just
right.
recently received one in Ghana.
Right.
A
I
few
see
weeks
that.
ago, yeah. And for me, it's you know, it's nice to be acknowledged, but for me, it is just getting the work done. Getting the work done. That is what's most important to me. Yeah.
And now you recently visited Africa. He's waiting
Yeah,
patiently.
yeah. Well, Jesus. Well, you know, I really wanted to do this interview, Sonia, but you know, I was so worried that my voice, it's still not 100%. But you know, I was so happy when I learned that you were going to Ghana. And why I'm happy because I went to Ghana too, and I get to visit the slave trade. And so I'm going to play the song that I played first, and that was one of my favorite songs. And I really love this song. You know, I'll tell you a story behind this song too. You know, I'm a funny guy. So I went to Ghana a few years ago, and I was in this shop. They sell grocery and so on. And this song started to play loud. And I did not play. I forget I was in Ghana. And I bust a dance. I danced this song so much. They start to laugh at me. They say, oh my God, look at this Indian boy come from Guyana, and look how he dancing up this song. I did not play for this song. I love this song. Listen to this song.
Where do you shot me? Say we shot, and so what? No one I met there. Be a big so watch me. I'm a kasha. Where do you shot me? Say we shot, and so what? No one I met there. Be a big so watch me. I'm a kasha.
On the one I hope I go fair. On the one I hope I go fair. On a car miracle, and send me the air to the shit. On the one I hope I go fair. On the one I hope I go fair. On a car miracle, and send me the air to the shit.
Oh, baby, man ku yet. Obey them brapen in a way. I just about in the bunu. Now what the Yakosi, Chelsea, and Sana Yakotumri. Man, can you hide and then you contumri? It's Jackie Yakotumri. Men number blast and view. See this nurse wire that I mean the view. Made dollars, my boss dollars. I feel so bad, so I don't get too pass. Eh, Bobia, they are going in the market. Or best, maybe anyone is an enemy. Obinchi, that would end. Yeah, but the Fanico for him and the piano. But some back what you want and mammy. Come to bat and the punch. Can I know 81 or Ben here to know I am saying after 2001.
You know, I will cut this song because we got so much to talk. You know, like I said, so visiting Ghana was such a big thing for me, and I want to get into your head because we got so much to talk about. When I heard, I mean, I traveled from New York to Amsterdam, then to Ghana. So when you know, I'm this Indian boy, you know, wasn't into radio, nothing, but I felt so good when the air hostess or the pilot said, "Welcome to Kotoko International Airport in Ghana." Oh, Jesus Christ. I could not believe this little Kulibai from Guyana come to this part. Sonia, what was the feelings like?
Yeah, I flew from Johannesburg to Kenya to Ghana.
Yeah.
And like all our lives, we've been like Ghana. So when you say you're from Ghana, everybody say, "Oh, you're from Ghana?" No, Guyana.
Right.
So being there is like, I am finally on this land where people have mistaken for my country for so long, right?
Right.
And the people, oh my gosh, they're so welcoming. I thought Guyanese were hospitable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. The Ghanaians are the epitome of hospitality.
Yes.
Wow.
You're right.
Oh. Yeah.
And that's one question I was going to ask you. You know, and I heard so many times we are the best in terms of hospitality around the world. Sonia, me visiting Ghana, they press my clothes, they bring water for me to bathe, and when I touch down in Ghana and you know how they eat, they have the big plate of the big basin of food, and it says, "Ken, how are you going to eat?" I said, "I'm going to eat just like you guys. I'm going to dig into that food just like how you guys dig into it." And we all sit down.
Yeah, you just wash your hand and you start.
Eat.
And you know what? I didn't feel as if I wasn't home. That's one. I called my mommy. I said, "Mommy, it's like you feel as if you're home. You didn't feel as if you're not home,
Right.
Right? You just felt as if you were home."
And the food was so delicious.
Yeah.
Lord.
They got some good. Just I put on some weight.
And the
right.
peace.
Right through from South Africa, they were like, every time, no, you got to eat some more. I'm like, geez. When I look at myself in the mirror now, I was like, yes, I need to get some of
Even
this.
to the pea soup.
What I liked is the pepper soup.
The pepper soup.
Pepper soup is my favorite thing, man. Oh gosh, that because you eat that in Ghana, you eat it in Nigeria also. But the pepper soup for me, that like it was like a little appetizer getting to the main course. But what I found, even the food is great in Ghana, but I found the variety was more in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because they took more tribes too, huh? Yeah.
And you know, I still have to find a nice Ghanaian place where I could go buy some food. But you know,
we're here in
here in New York. But I want to do this show, and I'm glad I remember. I want to do this show today in the memory of my friend, Rebecca Atinka, who is from Ghana. And my friend, we always make jokes. We always used to fight. She was beautiful, strong, and she's from Ghana. I'm from Guyana. I was a nurse. But we always fought. We always fight. And I always make joke with her. I would put it nicely for you guys. I said, I'm going to take you to Ghana. I'm going to do so and so. I'm going to do a big story with me and you. And I said, when you're going to Ghana, let me know. And so she said, I'm going. You're going to go? And I said, yeah. I spent 3 weeks in Ghana. And my friend, she died a couple of years ago. I was so sorry to learn that she died, but I was part of her life too. You know, the family keep me abreast of what's going on.
She died here in New York?
Yeah, she died here in New York. And the family put my name down to give a speech. And everybody loved my speech when I finished. Because I talked the way she treated me, the hospitality, I could not believe. I turned back and I cannot believe that their hospitality was beautiful. It's a hallmark of the people of Ghana. I'm telling you,
It really is.
it is, and I could not believe. I believe that I'm 58 now, and that's one of the best trips that I have ever took in my life. Despite I'm an Indian Guyanese, going to Ghana was
Yeah.
something else. Also, Sonia, I was surprised when I was upstairs on the second floor, and I hear something ponging, and when I look down, I see the ponging fufu.
Yeah, yeah. Because we adopted them in Guyana, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is origin. Yeah,
So that
origin.
that may be culture that came from Africa to Guyana.
right, right.
So
yeah.
and they brought their
Just like the pong yam, the
instruments.
pong yam in the same
Right.
matter. Yeah.
Yes, and the plantain. And I said, oh my God, we do this in Guyana before.
Yeah.
And then one day I look down and I see they poked me, blowing the fire. I'm like, Jesus, I'm like in Guyana, eh? Right? But, you know, Sonia, what was your experience?
It's one of the best trips I've ever made, being on the continent of Africa. It was very hard for me to leave,
Oh my,
and they didn't want me to leave either. Oh, I got a few proposals too.
really?
You go to the wedding. I want to dance that song in Africa.
Well, and play the song.
Yeah, everywhere I went, they found reasons for me to stay, like really valid reasons. But honestly, it was so intriguing, and every place had its plus.
Right.
And the things that the media feed you years that show you all the bad parts, oh my gosh. Ghana is so beautiful. I could remember putting a little clip that you saw on Cape Coast
Right.
when it looked like the Caribbean. People were like, that's Ghana? Because that is not the lens that people are seeing through to see something like that. You know, all they see, like the starving people, the people that are walking without shoes and all of that. But I mean, there's a part like that, but there's a big part that is not that. Progressive people with businesses and everything. And just like in Nigeria, I mean, I was in Lagos and in Abuja. And my gosh, I mean, imagine over 200 million people in one country. Over 200 million. And it's over a billion on the continent. It's like because we come from a country with under 750,000 people. And when you look at, like when I was in Cape Town, one part I was there, I was in LA.
Oh,
One
really?
part,
Wow.
yes. One I thought I was in LA.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious. So people, the media sometimes feed you all the bad things and
Right.
the parts that are really uplifting. They have so many. I mean, I've never seen so many luxury car in one traffic jam. Like, that was in Lagos. It's like wait, everybody does have a Mercedes. Yes, a BMW, a Porsche. It was like I've never seen so many in like one block.
Wow.
Yes. And I must let me, like, every day was an adventure. Every day was like, oh my gosh, you know, okay, I have one more week left, and it's like, Jesus, you just don't want to leave. But for me, going to Elmina Castle was an experience I will go to my grave with. Because, like, something that happened 500 years ago that could be reenacted. And what I love is that the tour guide, tour guides, they have the information, they talk off their head. This particular tour guide, he didn't just, he emoted, he connected. There was moments where he stopped and he closed his eyes and he composed himself. Because the story was so real to him. And that, I think that is what made us, it transferred to us, who were like 30 of us, 25, 30 of us were in that particular group there. And from the time we started, I knew he was going to be a good tour guide because of how we started. And as we're going through there, oh my gosh, the emotions. I mean, I can remember like trying to find faces to my foreparents. Like when you get the smell that just surface, as if it was just yesterday this happened. The smell of urine and everything is still there within that. And when you think of them sitting there like sardines or standing, because some of them actually died standing, because there was no place for them.
And, Sonia, for our viewers, we are talking about
Elmina
Elmina
Castle.
Castle. And you could go ahead and explain to them what's Elmina Castle. Really
Yes,
is.
it's a port where they have had all the slaves to ship to the Caribbean and on other parts, right? So they have all the dungeons. So they took us through the dungeons where they actually house them, the male dungeons and the female dungeons. And it's like every time you have to cramp yourself because every time you go down, the little doors got shorter. So you have to go like right down to go through those holes to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I took a picture at the door of no return because when you get there through that little door, to your right was the ship that was waiting there. So when you go to that ship, a lot of them went on the ship, but they didn't make it. They were sick and they throw them overboard,
Wow.
right? So you know that when you go through there, you bend down and you go there. You don't know you're going to somebody to be sold. But one of the things I love with what they did is I stood at that door there. The head of the tourism department there in Ghana, he now switched it as the door of return. So when you went there, it was the door of no return. Now it's the door of return.
Oh, really?
Because what he did is use it in a way for the tourism product to tell Ghanaians to come back to Ghana, right? And not just Ghanaians, but Africans around the world to come back. Come back, you have to build this place, come back. And it's working because a lot of people are going back.
Yes.
But one of the things being there as they were giving us the tour, when they were talking about it, the part where, of course, women are there, you menstruating, you're there for days, you can't bathe and all of that. Imagine that, you're just there. You're smelling. So they would bring you up and wash you down. That's when the slave master wants to have a nice time. And then he looks up, they took us to the balcony that he looks down and said, okay, I want that one and that one. And if you go up to his room and you refuse, the next day they put you in the sun and put these big balls, these big iron balls there on you there. And as you get weak and everything, you can't do anything anymore. You can fight him. They take you back to his room. So you imagine having that mindset. You have to please your oppressor as a woman. You can imagine how difficult that was.
I can imagine.
Oh, when that tour, for me, when they locked the door with us inside, it got dark, right, in the dungeon. And it's like, just imagine what it feels like in there. Just for a few minutes, you're claustrophobic. So imagine it there for months. And that's what happened because some of them eyes went bad. Because if you're in the darkness all the time, you come out. And when they said when the ships got to the Caribbean or wherever else they were going, you smell it from a distance. You smell like a septic tank is coming.
Oh,
so
wow.
without them announcing that the ships were coming, the smell
would
just
come.
came. Because, you've been on that boat, doing everything on that boat. You can imagine.
And
all
they
that.
were shackled.
Yes, exactly.
And I think 2 slaves were shackled with 1 chain.
Well, and then they
And
were,
yes.
when you look at the sleeping arrangement, they put them on top of each other too. And then as they get ill, they just make and everybody overboard. And so it was really gruesome, a heinous thing that happened. And to think that human beings can do that to each other, it is just really, it's like you and I left that place. I got so emotional thinking, like, this actually happened to our foreparents. I know I have a picture when I held the iron bars, that the first set of iron bars that they had there. It's over 500 years old, and it's still there. They have it there as part of the tour. And you felt, it's just my D's here. Wow.
Well,
What I've known that the fort that you guys both visited there.
Right.
And it has made quite a tremendous impact,
You
right?
have to come.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the fort that is one of the most tragic human chapters of life.
And I have it. It's a brutal part of history of humanity
Oh, yes.
that ever happened. And
Oh, yes.
one of the things is that despite, and I put it in this perspective, despite I'm an Indian and went to Ghana and visited the slave trade, did Elmina Castle, I felt the goosebump.
Oh, yes.
I felt what people like. It was tough. I felt very emotional.
For raising
That
it
human
is.
being had to go through this. And woman, you get your menstruation, but you don't have any pad to wear.
Well,
can't
as
even
I
shower.
said,
You can't even shower.
you lie on the ground with straws.
And imagine pain.
Yes.
You could imagine
we
the
get
pain that was
menstrual
felt.
cramps,
Yes.
you know.
What also tickles me is to know that there was a church above the dungeons.
Yeah.
What are these guys going to tell God?
Yeah.
And the thing is, there was like dark, airless dungeons for the
Yeah.
slaves. And the Europeans, they had this
Their
big,
quarters were
airy,
and then
spacious.
when they cooked, what they told us there, they had when they cook all the heat goes down straight into.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I
Yeah.
didn't know that part yet. And so it's already hot, and then that was on purpose. All the it goes straight into the dungeon.
And to reflect like on just what you said, right? I've seen the photographs. The doors to the dungeons lead right to the bottom, many meters below.
Yeah.
They go, and as you said, they go and they go and they go and they get smaller as you go
Because
down.
remember, the thing is
And-
to make you feel lesser, so you have to
yes.
go down. Yeah.
And right above those doors, some of the doors, there was the church, as you say, right.
Right.
above that.
Yeah.
I mean, and the people were worshiping in that church. How can that be right?
Right.
You
yeah.
know, well, what is, you know?
It's a sad part of history, and that, I wish that a lot of our Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, will go and visit and see history and what they've been through.
When my friend Raquel, Dr. Thomas, and she told me, actually, she told me about it, and as I was going, I got a text from her, I hope you get to see Elmina Castle.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to the castle when she said that, because
Yeah,
she
yeah,
said
yeah.
it's one of the things that, all her travels, she'll never
Me
forget.
too.
And then she said, I hope every Caribbean person get a chance to see that at some
Yes,
experience
yeah.
that at some
I
point.
want to take
Yeah.
my boys to see
You
it
should.
too. I really want to when they get a little bigger, so they would understand,
And-
what people really went through in life.
And just in that castle, that what I've read, right? And you guys were there, you can correct me. That there was where the girls were kept in the dungeons, where they were kept. There was barely space for them.
Oh, yeah.
There was no lying down. They had to
Right.
be kept upright. And you said a lot of them
And
died
boys
there.
standing there.
And the governor, he had a stairway from his chambers
Right.
with access to the slave room, the girls' room.
Yeah.
And he could do as he pleased. He could get
Well,
as many as
that's
he
the
wanted.
Same thing. When they finish, they just go up there. When they finish washing them off or whatever, they,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Well, they
And
wash
I
them up
thought-
and send them upstairs.
Yeah.
That's for the governor, right?
Yeah.
But then you said you had told me that there was like a balcony and
Yeah.
the,
Well,
Yes.
the slave
Right,
trade
right.
would stand up there and they would parade the girl, make them
Right.
walk around
Right.
until they were chosen.
Yes.
And then they had no say in what was
You
going to
have no
happen.
say. You have
yeah.
no say at all.
What also, and that's why you see you have back in the days, in those days, and still now in generation, that something you get some let me see, Afro Ghanaian, that you will see their fair skin, because sometimes some of the girls get pregnant.
Yeah, and they had a room for them. They have the room
Yes.
for those babies, and they had
Right.
pictures and stuff. But they still go back in the dungeon. It's not that you have this child and you get special treatment.
Right.
It's only if
For
he
1 month or
yes,
something.
if he really takes to you. There's sometimes that you get exceptions.
Right.
But you go back with the others like nothing. When you finish getting that baby, somebody's looking at that baby.
Yeah, and I heard that
Well-
some of the girls were lucky to send them back to the village.
Well, what energy did you guys feel
Oh,
when
you
you were
feel
there?
it.
It was a
Listen,
sad
it's-
energy.
here, you can't explain it into words really, because it's a certain emotion. Your pores start rising, the smell, the everything. So it's we can explain it the best we can, but being standing there,
Yeah.
like I put my hand on the wall, like run my finger down the wall, like, so being there, that is what you get the full impact. But it is just unlike anything that I've ever experienced.
And
You feel the pain.
Yes.
you
feel,
feel
yes,
something.
Yes, yes.
One of the things that I always tell people, and I'm much more smarter now, but I believe in a free world, Sonia, and I didn't believe that human beings need to go through all of these things just for their own pleasure.
It's and money. I mean,
At that time, it was all money.
Money.
And even the African people, the coastal people,
Yeah.
they were the one who were
Because
capturing.
remember
Yes, yes.
They were the
paid
one,
to-
yeah.
Yes.
And
That's what
just
someone
because
said,
of
yeah.
whiskey and arms and whatever they were being given, they sold
They
the
were manipulated
compatriots.
into-
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And a lot of them grew very rich because of that practice.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was all.
Because like he was saying, actually, the slave trade guy, he was saying, I'm not telling you to take your money out of Barclays Bank, but they were one of the persons that.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he said that.
Yeah.
That's
But
what they.
You know,
yeah.
Sonia, I today I was thinking about things, and I, in my mind, I'm saying, I cannot blame my foreparents for the wrong things that they did, but I will try my best to do the right thing, and I don't want anyone to judge me based on what my
On what they did,
foreparents
yeah.
did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let's make right, and the rest for the children, whoever it is, the grandchildren. Let's make right with them.
And talking about, I guess, in our group, they had more Caucasian in our group than actual black people.
Right.
So I guess some of them just want to feel, I don't know what was going through their minds because we go for different reasons, but maybe they want to really experience like what it was like. Because a lot of them, I'm sure, thought it was wrong, but it was done, right? So I bet they heard about it, and it's one of the things that I would really like to. Like what was going through their minds. It probably would be different to what was going through mine, or it probably can be somewhere similar. I don't know. Yeah.
But it was whatever happened there. And the bad thing is that still there was some slavery.
Well, mental slavery. Like I was saying, even when I went upstairs to the lookout, the gallery, and I was saying, when we look at when we think about slavery, we always think about chains, but the worst kind of slavery is mental slavery.
Yeah.
And like Bob Marley said, none but ourselves can free our minds.
Yeah.
And just like a lot of people that might not be incarcerated, but we have a lot of people that are in jail because they put themselves in jail. And then it comes back again to the mindset. But a lot of people are not. They're free to walk and they're free to whatever. They don't have chains on, but mental slavery is even.
Mentally, they have the chain on.
Yes.
And I think back in about Indians from India when they were coming, and I don't think they went through some things, yes, but you know what, I in my mind I say sometimes, I honor all those who have been before me, and I have a responsibility. I walk on these shoulders.
They've paved the way.
They paved the way for me, and I thank God that I can make them proud, make my ancestors proud of the man that I am today.
Yeah.
Well, I think our ancestors came, but they came in a different situation.
Right.
And they did not suffer as much as
No, not at all.
Not even half.
the Africans. Not even half of that, yeah. And they had a little bit more of freedom and everything. So it's a totally,
Yes.
we think our ancestors did go through a lot, and they did go through a lot to get us here. But what they did to the Africans was, I think it was inhumane. I think they were not treated as human beings. They were just treated as commodities, just an exchange for, they were like a
even
produce.
animals are treated better.
Differently.
To have sex with someone who you don't love, or who you don't
Not
like.
even to don't love, who oppress you, who would have you in this, that must be one of the most difficult things.
And I keep thinking a lot of that door of no return.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Go ahead.
I'll show you
I
the
just want to
picture.
know. Imagine that you're forced. That's the last time you're forced through that door.
go on
You're
a ship.
leaving your family. You're leaving the things you know. You're leaving your land.
But
You're
even family,
leaving your
because
home.
even in the dungeons, they
you
don't
know.
put family together.
Yeah.
They
But you're
separate.
you're
Yeah,
leaving
yeah,
everything that you
everything.
ever know. You know, and it's not your choice. You're being forced
You don't even
into
know where you're
leaving. You
going.
know. And the only thing that I think you said they had is it Marta or Mata? The thing that you pung with, the punger thing.
I said Martha, I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it was Mortar, but you said Mata, and then I realized I have heard of Mata before in Guyana.
The stick and the big thing and the
martyr,
flip.
this and then the pistol.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So then those things that you said that
they
you
did.
saw,
I did.
that those were some of the cultures and some of the things
No,
that
they
were
didn't
able.
have culture. They didn't. No, they stripped them of all cultures. They wasn't
stripped
any-
them?
Yes, because remember, when you want to have somebody broken, you have to break everything. Because even the names, if you saw the movie Kunta Kinte, when they wanted to name him over, they didn't even want him to have his own name, and they beat him until he admitted the name was some Kofi or Kobe or something.
So
like
how
that.
come we have still culture of
But
the,
we were
Because-
talking about those who
Because
live there now too.
you see, a lot of them. That's why the drumming and a lot of things like were sent signals when they started doing the drummings and stuff like that. But they try as much as possible to separate family. You mustn't have any values. You mustn't have any culture. But some of them try in their own ways to preserve. you know.
right?
But it was. I really think
They had a fight, but they still, they still have a little bit.
Yeah, for those of
Whoever
you
the
who
older
just
people,
tune
you
in,
know.
Colleen, good evening to you. Ryan Lala, good evening. The voice like is coming back a little bit. And we are talking to the beautiful Sony Noel. I always say that she's capital WOMAN. And she just visited Ghana. And I visited Ghana a couple of years ago. So we are having a little discussion about the slave trade in Elmina Castle. And it has to be sad because you know what? We know we leave Guyana, we came here. Still, it's tough for us. Imagine the Africans in Ghana. You capture them, you lock them up, You send them away. People did not get to go and get to write their family or visit their family. And what the bad thing is that people never really get to come back and report what was going on with them way after slavery was abolished. So it would have been nice to hear what people really went through, but we know it was bad.
Imagine a lot of them. I mean, imagine being thrown over. You're still alive, but you know you're sick, and
You're
the
sick,
water in
you're
your lungs,
maimed.
the water in your lungs, and you know with those chains, you can't. You won't even try to swim because you know you're going down to the bottom of that ocean. Or sharks, you're a meal for a shark, right? So, I don't even like to think like some of the last thoughts that some of them would have had. You know, so many
And
years ago.
It's still
I know,
being
yeah.
helpless.
And I know Sonny's talking about the point of no return. As long as you go through that hole,
That was it.
you are not coming back into the ship.
That
If you
was
get
it.
sick, you get thrown out. They
No
throw you
doctors
out.
coming to look at you.
You know, and that was sad too. Also, you know, a lot of people died. Over 2 million slaves died back then because they didn't have the
Malaria
water.
too, remember?
Malaria, right.
And all these kind of things.
The
So
health
it was-
reasons
They were
there,
ravaged
right.
by a lot of stuff, yeah.
2 million people died actually. Oh God, I would have done that
2
with all
million.
the problem. Yeah, I would have dead.
Luckily, you're in this
I
century.
thank God I did that pass through that.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
But, you
My
know,
goodness.
it's just really, and it's good to look at the African people that can rise and celebrate life and, you know, be aware of what their foreparents went through. But I do plan to visit the other parts because I'm going to be back at some point, God's willing, I'll be back. And I want to explore all 54 countries.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And so Sonia, I know that you will be back in New York in January. Sometime then?
Well, I still have to. I'm still going. Funny enough, I had a meeting a couple days ago, and they're like, "Can you be back the first week in December, back to Africa?" And I was like, "I'm not even home as yet. I'm not even home as yet." So when I get home, I'll be able to plan my
But
itinerary.
what we want you to do is, you got so much. We could talk for a whole 3-4 or 20 hours.
I'll be
So
back.
when you
here.
come back, I know you're staying close to us. So just make some time to come back on the show.
Oh, definitely. I'm really
And we
looking
can talk.
forward to ending this year strong and helping others to help end this year strong. That's what we have in the courses like the Confident Becomes You course. And then we also have a vision board party.
Right.
And it's virtual too. So because vision is important. Vision is, as I said, not every eye that look can see. Vision is a function of the heart and eye is a function of the sight is a function of the eyes. So to have a vision for your life and really go, really be intentional about achieving those things. It's very important, and that's why we have in the virtual vision board parties to teach people the technique, how to create your vision board. If you have one, how to alt it. You know, there are different things. So in life is what you make it to the end of it. It doesn't matter where you're from, what color you are. You are the deciding factor. You decide whether you're going to paint. You have the paint. It's a blank canvas, whether you want to paint orange today, black, red, whatever, it is you. And too many times we have to be stronger than our excuses because we blame everybody else for things that don't go well in our lives. And if we're to look at ourselves, we are the ones. I gotta drink some Kenneth tea, right? We are the ones that's holding ourselves back, not other people. So let us be stronger than our excuses, and let us be intentional about living that fulfilled life.
So I just want to say before we go, one of the questions that we gave the answer away before. Let's see who's paying attention. Anybody who answers the question, the first person to answer the question would be getting a free course in
Confident
the
becomes you.
Confident
Yes.
Becomes You. It's a virtual class, so and it starts next week, right?
Yes, and then you
Yes,
don't
sir.
have to worry about in terms of time. You fix your time for 2 weeks when you want to do it. So yes, so the orientation is on Sunday, and then 2 weeks later the class is finished, and I can guarantee you that you would not be the same person.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So the question that I'm going to put forward is, which one of Sonia's book was translated into Spanish? She has a Spanish edition. All right. We need a second question.
Yes, that's what you cover the next question. What was, probably make it easy, what was her job back when she was a young girl. When she was swinging them heads back in Guyana.
Let's make it a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
Where and what was Sonia's first job?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Sonia, I know we got a couple of minutes more to go. What's the future looks like for you?
Bright.
When you look at the, like that,
Brighter.
when you look at the crystal ball,
You know, it would be so boring if we knew exactly what would happen to us. But what I know for what I am, what my download, what God is telling me is He's elevating me to newer heights. And I have a mission, a very significant mission in life. And I have to intentionally continue to contribute to humanity. I have absolutely no reason to stop. And I have no intentions of stopping. So I would definitely say my travels will increase. That's what I'm feeling. My travels will increase.
To
Places
Africa.
to play. Definitely.
54 countries. That's quite.
Yeah.
That's like 1 week in every. Not even 1 week for a whole year.
And, but wherever He's taken me, I will continue to make a difference. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for life every day. And that's why I don't let anyone take a second away from it. I do the things that it's my space. It's your 24 hours. It's my 24 hours. You decide what you want to do with it. Oprah Winfrey has 24. You have 24. I have 24. So do you. How are we going to chart the course that our 24 hours must matter? Right? We can go into this new year with all the things we've done so far and we get no results, or we can go into this new year to shift our mindsets that we will live the best life possible. And,
Yeah.
it is possible to do that.
All right, we have a winner for the second question. Sarah Samka, she said a high school teacher, and then Bartika.
Sarah, you are disqualified. You cannot. You're like my sister. You cannot answer the question.
you like me. That's what I do.
Oh, but no. Okay, you want it, you can give it to someone else. Okay, I'll give you the opportunity to give the course because you did the course already, right? You can give the course to someone else. Okay.
Oh yes, I would. I want it. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I got it.
Okay.
I'm not disqualified because I didn't take
No,
it.
you're not disqualified. Okay,
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, work a smart one.
But we still have one more for the first question.
The book.
Which one of Sonia's book has a Spanish edition?
Yeah. Let's see who's gonna get it. So you're heading back to. What was when you were, like, I was too emotional. A lot of things. Ghana trip was something else, and I made my friend cry so much because guess what I did? So my friend treated me so good, so she even take me up to the plane. I don't know how she managed to pull that through, but I felt so compelled to say thank you. So I didn't have any paper. I had a tissue in my pocket, and I had a pen, and I said, Lord, if I go on this plane and if this plane crash, my friend will never know how I felt. So while I'm waiting for the plane now, I took out the paper, the tissue, and I wrote a nice letter to her. I said, girl, you don't know how much you have influenced me, how much you have changed me. I said that you have treated me in Guyana. We talk about hospitality, but you outdid all of that. You made me feel so special and important. And she said when she meet me back in New York, she said, but you don't know how that letter touched me, how much I cried. But I want to share a story with you guys. And like I said, today's show I want to dedicate it to my friend who passed away. We all come from different parts in this world. We end up here in New York. And what had really made her love me so much is that her husband had died a couple of years before. And I was one of the only person who actually went to her house. I wasn't rich, but I told her, I said, we were co-workers.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I think that if there's anything that you need for the funeral or anything, let me know. I will help you. And she said she's all right. I never knew what that meant to her until we were in Ghana. She was in one room, I was in the other room. And she said to me, you know why I love you? Is that when my husband had died, you came and this is the things that you have told me. And sometimes, we say things all the time and we don't know how we touch people. But what I want people to do, and we have to do a show, I'm going to talk about this. We must let people know how we feel.
I agree.
Don't
Express.
don't let people die with let them know how you feel about them. And that's my takeaway for tonight.
Yeah, I do
Powerful.
agree. I do agree. Like Sarah, like every day we send and say how much we love each other. Then she said, I love you more. Then I said, no, I love you more. It's so funny sometimes how we are.
Sarah,
But,
I love you most. Thank you.
I agree. I do agree with you. And and sometimes you meet a total stranger and they're
Yeah.
so great to you. Like when I went to Nigeria, this lady that I'm meeting for the first time, she said, "This is your driver, one of her drivers."
Oh, wow.
Her chef, she said, "You have access to my chef, whatever you want."
Oh,
And it's
wow.
like, I'm telling you, I had a driver 24 hours. Yeah.
wow.
And it's just that, and then again, it's, sometimes it's what you give off, you get.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I was able to do too, I went to visit refugee camps in Nigeria with the kids who were displaced because of Boko Haram, with
Right,
killing
right, I
mothers and
remember.
whatever. And so it's just everywhere I go, there's certain things I have to go to the schools. I got to go. I went to the kids with disabilities. I went and spent time with them. So I just love the trip. Was so compelling and so beautiful because of the lives that I've encountered. It's just really beautiful. Yeah.
Kind of fulfilling and
Oh
all
gosh,
that.
to the next level.
To the brim.
Totally. From the time I went to the time I left, it was all meaningful.
So I think one time we have to plan a trip, all of us. To go.
We have a retreat for women,
Mhm.
and we have one for men at some point, but women first.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have a retreat coming up in Lagos next August for women. Yeah, that is something.
I'll join on the course next week too.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well, yes. So
And
you're gonna
then
hear more
we'll
about
know
it.
about.
You'll
yeah,
hear more about it.
I'll hear
Like,
about the dates to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That would
my
be awesome.
co-host, what's your takeaway with all this?
I
that
am
I told
blown
you?
away. I am blown away. And as you said, Sonia is off the hook.
Yeah.
I enjoyed our conversation, and oh my God, I enjoy meeting you. And I think we have a project or two in hand together, and looking
Awesome.
forward to that.
awesome.
And Ken, we'll keep you we'll get you into.
Ken, when we at La Campagne Resort next year, we'll send you pictures. How about that?
And that's one of the things that
Gita will be with us, so don't think she's not going to be with us.
I want to support you guys to live your best life because I believe that in support people, not to pull people down, to help people to live their best life, and that's why I'm with all of you guys, all you ladies,
Yeah.
to help you fly. To Sarah, my co-host, my co-host, she's a actress, but she was before.
And we were actually going to be in a movie together.
Yeah, and the truth is that, her talent was not being used, and I thought in my mind, let me use her. Let's showcase
And make that
each other.
difference.
Yes.
And make that
And,
difference together.
People don't realize that, in life that, when you give people
A chance,
you-
an opportunity.
when you help people to fly, to grow, you grow too.
You, of course.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're growing
You're
the
not taking
process.
away.
No,
Yeah.
you're not taking away anything from you.
So
I gotta tell you, Ken was like about 4 months, 5 months. You've been telling me, come on, come on, come on. I came once, I came twice, but he was easily pulling me in, and I wasn't. He said, "Come help me out,
Yeah.
come help me out." And then actually, I came in. I'm
That's how
reeled
God
in.
works, though. Eh?
I'm reeled in, and I'm loving it. I'm loving
can
it.
tell.
she
Yes,
loved it.
so-
She loved this. I cook food. And so I want to say, Sonia, I always speak from my heart. I don't have to write anything down. Sonia, I love you. And thank you so much for coming today. God bless you in all that you do. Continue to serve humanity. Continue to be a source of hope for all those who you meet. I can't say Guyana anymore. I want to say across the globe, continue to be the light for people when there is darkness. And we will continue to do work together.
Thank you.
Right? I love you. And thanks again.
Thank you to Ken, and you continue to champion with the. I feel so proud of seeing with the birds and being all the judges and everything that he's doing. But seriously, our contribution to humanity must never be compromised. We have to continue to intentionally strive every day to do something for someone.
Right.
And all three of us here have that heart.
Yes. And every day, viewers, a little thing, even if it's a smile or just a good word to
A good word to
somebody,
someone,
yeah, it can make their day. As you said in your text to your friend, to
Somebody
not
that I
your
didn't even
friend,
know.
just a Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made such a difference. You saved a life that day, even without knowing
Yes.
it. So these little things does make a difference in people.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder we should talk about that. I've had several times that I've mistakenly called somebody and then made a friend,
And it
then,
wasn't a
Me,
mistake. It wasn't a
happens to me
mistake.
all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ladies
So-
and gentlemen, yes, go ahead.
Dear viewers, thank you guys for logging on this evening.
Thank
God,
you all.
God bless your hearts and all your other vital parts. God bless.
And
Thank
you want to say anything else? Before
Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone out there. Doesn't matter what it is that you're going through, which part of your journey you are on. Love it, embrace it. Don't, like, sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Why not you? Because right now where you are, that's what you need to do to prepare you for the greatness that God has in store for you. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid when in your valley to celebrate, because you're going to get back at the mountaintop. You will.
That's right. And forgive me for the voice. I had to do this interview today. This thing was planned a long time ago, so I couldn't out sit out. And thanks for understanding. Love you guys. All right.
Right.
Have a good night, everyone. Until next week.
Thank
Remember,
you.
when the going gets